Bro, get out of my car.
My bad, man. Hey guys, Paul here. Today we're going to be doing a video review of a non-Warhammer kit. Yeah, look at that. It's going to be different for me and you, but don't worry. A lot of the skills transfer. So this is the Mugen Motorsports or Honda Mugen Motorsports collaboration, the CRX Pro. It's not quite the car from Initial D, but it is an Initial D in Act 7. You know what I'm talking about. We're going to crack this bad boy open and talk about the kit. So yes, as I've alluded to, I am not the standard model kit guy. I'm the Warhammer guy, but I do know a little bit and the skills transfer. So Mugen here refers to Mugen Motorsports, which is owned by Hirotoshi Honda, the son of the late Soichiro Honda. I think that he was the founder, or anyway. Horitoshi is the largest shareholder of the corporation Honda, as far as I'm aware, but these companies are separate, as far as I'm aware. Honda, the corporation, does not own Mugen. And look at this beautiful box. It's gorgeous. Custom made to honor, well, Honda and Mugen. Ah, yeah, I can't wait to open this up. And right away, Tamiya's workmanship, beautiful, very evident. Now, this is where my lack of experience kind of dissipates. I do know for a fact, unlike Warhammer or tanks or whatnot, sorry, my voice there, cars don't have a lot of brakes. Typically, they're one smooth surface, meaning they're kind of unforgiving when it comes to standard brush painting, which a lot of Warhammer painters and modelers do. Even when they prime with a airbrush and they do the base coating with the details like the skulls and whatnot, the trims of the armor, you still have to brush paint for the most part. Now, as I say that, I'm looking at this. There are some breaks, some rough angles, so not quite 90 degrees, but it's getting there. Meaning you could feasibly hand brush some parts of it. Now, I'm not saying most cars are hand brush proof. In fact, the bumpers and the rims and whatnot, I feel like you should still hand brush the details for that. The seats as well, where are the seats? Right here, the interior, which is a feature of this car, very detailed. Look at the seats. There we go. Now that the plastic is off, you can clearly see how detailed this is. And yes, this is basically going to require Warhammer levels of precision to paint this fully, at least to get it to this level. Look up the Harlequin's, I guess, symbol, logo. People freehand that stuff in Warhammer. So yeah, this is very nice. And of course, because they promised a detailed interior, we have the interior. You basically place the seats here, and yeah, this is very nice. Here, of course, is the windshield. One whole piece like that. Do they typically do it as one whole piece? I think they do. But anyway, let's look at the rims, because a lot of people are interested in the rims. I can't tell. I think they're gorgeous, but I don't know if they're gorgeous enough for people. Who knows? And of course, rubber. Very nice. And I do recommend hand painting this as well. So here are the decals for the car. And honestly, if you don't want to paint the seats, you can just have the decals on it. Pretty neat solution. It is quite difficult to get a pattern like that if you want it to be extremely accurate, unless you're, again, a Harlequin player. Those guys are essentially surgeons with their precision. Anyway, now you might be saying, wait, we're on decals already? Aren't you forgetting something? Nope, I'm not forgetting anything. And actually, that's what I'm about to get at. This is about as standard a Tamiya kit as you can get. While again, admittedly, I am a Warhammer builder, I have been working here for nearly 5 years. And I can tell you, typically collaborations like this or something special like this typically come with more stuff. And I've seen them not be expensive. They don't have to compromise the price. I've seen them. Tamiya kits are actually a lot cheaper than people realize these days. Yeah, nothing. No photo etch to speak of. No metallic parts even. I'm not seeing any metallic parts here. Oh, kick the stand. But anyway, yeah, so in terms of quality, it's up to snuff. If you're a fan of Tamiya, which most people are, you should be a fan of Tamiya. This is great. But it's not anything beyond great, at least overall package-wise. Obviously, your painting and building skills will completely determine the final product, but as a kit itself, this is just great. But it stops right there. So basically, long story short, this is about a 7.5 out of 10 in the scale of things. And just as a final thing, let's do, or I'll show you guys the paints that you'll need to paint with this, you know. So the tools themselves are standard enough, though there are a couple of things to stand out. But of course, I'm just gonna run them down anyway. You need the side cutter, of course, to precisely cut the pieces. I recommend side cutters because even me, a seasoned veteran of the hobby, recently cut myself on my thumb because I do resin with Forge World with Warhammer, and as I was trimming, I cut myself, and I've been doing this since I was 8. I'm 30 now. So extra thin, of course, all of you have this, but sometimes you need to say the obvious, right? And then the tweezers. This is particularly special because this is for the decals. Now, to me, decals, now that we're on the topic, are thicker than your average decals. In fact, they're so thick, people complain about them all the time, but they're made that way specifically so they don't disintegrate under like formula, adhesive formula and whatnot. So they have a product called decal adhesive softeners so that when it comes to following the contour of a car or planes, whatnot, it does so without breaking or tearing or disintegrating. This is what this product is for. Soak it. And then obviously you have to cut it out with a knife first, and then once it's in the proper angle, use a tweezer, just slide it and then place it gently. That's what that's for. And then finally, for clear parts. So this applies to plane makers as well, the multi-purpose cement. Now this is slightly different to the extra thin because this doesn't really fog. It's made with the express purpose of allowing clear plastic parts to adhere to bodies without fogging up. Now you could accomplish the same thing by grabbing a toothpick and being very careful with the amount of super glue that you place on a clear part, and just tiny pricks of super glue every now and then, and that won't fog up either. I can attest to that. David, who you're familiar with videos like this, can also attest to that. He built a Spitfire like that. Though the one thing I can say about Tamiya tools is that combined out with a kit, they are going to be significantly more expensive. At least the total bill will be. So grab like an alternate brand like Excel, and your total bill would be significantly cheaper. Excel isn't actually a bad product. They're quite reliable and good. Okay, they just don't have the brand recognition of, well, Tamiya. Tamiya is legendary. That's why they're more expensive. These are the paints that they recommend. About a mix of both flat, semi-gloss to gloss, and then lacquer paints for some reason. But, for some reason, but you'll understand. Obviously, you need to get a lacquer primer. So your targets would be Mr. Hobby Surfacers or Tamiya lacquer primers, which is all their primers actually. So get any one of those. And why lacquer primers, you may ask? If you follow the instructions to the letter, you will be using lacquer paints. Now, this is a lacquer flat base, and bases are something of an enigma. They stand on their own. They're not necessarily paints, at least paints by themselves. They work in conjunction with other paints, such as the blue here. This is a gloss blue, but in conjunction with this, instead of a thinner, the flat base, it turns it flat. Basically, in acrylic terms, typically acrylic paint, when you're brushing it on, you just thin it down with water. A base or a medium, more familiar term for a lot of acrylic painters, will turn it will replace the water that you're applying and thinning it with. But in this case, since it's lacquer and you don't thin it with water, it's replacing the thinner, lacquer thinner. So long story short, you got silvers and different. Aluminum is just a darker silver anyway. At least color-wise. Obviously, I know composition-wise it's not. Anyway, you have X's, which is typically semi-gloss to gloss. A lot of them are gloss though, and then XFs are all flats. Same thing with the oranges, right? This is a clear orange gloss for the headlights and other things. This is just a standard orange if you want to use it. Honestly, you can just pick either or for a lot of these things. And to be honest, you can just pick any color you want. You can work with Vallejo paints if you want. You could paint it pink for all we care. It doesn't really matter, right? Though there are some things that are non-negotiable, like the bumpers and the rims, for example. They're either black or silver or some varying form of silver, dark or light. So yeah, that's probably non-negotiable. Same with the headlights. That's why the clear red and oranges are here, which are gloss. But anyways, yeah, that's exactly what they're there for. These are the paints. This is a X18, LP6. LP means lacquer paints. The base LP22, X27, X6, X26, XF16, and XF11 from previous video out. There are two more paints they're recommending. And that's the rattle cans. This is TS29, and then this is TS26. You guys watch that actually for this video, because we still have stock of them. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they're basically banned at a supply level here in Canada, not yet banned at a store level. David goes more in depth in our previous video about that if you want to know more information regarding Tamiya sprays. Long story short, get them while they're still around. Anyway. Yeah, these are what they recommend. This TS29 is semi-gloss black, very good. But if you basically have an airbrush, ignore. All right, same with the pure white. Whites and, well, actually whites and blacks colors are hard to get these days, always sold out. But yeah, those are what they recommend. If you have an airbrush, ignore that last part. But anyways, yeah, decent enough kit. Or actually, no, it's a great kit. Admittedly, great kit, great car itself. Pretty good story behind it with the son, right, making his own company, and then in collaboration, essentially with his dad. Great kit overall. I just wish it had a little bit more to bring it up to that legendary status. The car itself is already legendary, but as a kit, it doesn't really have going on as much as you'd think it would, detail-wise. No opening hood, too. Hey, other Revell cars have opening hoods for a much less ask, right? Anyway, that's it for today's video, guys. Follow us on social media. TikTok is where we're most active. Same with Facebook and Instagram. But yeah, otherwise, see you guys next time.